From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting. Originating from the County Administrative Center, located at 1115 Truxton Avenue in Bakersfield, California. Grounded in ideas, energy, and innovation, Kern County's vision is to be a driving force for the world's fifth largest economy. And our mission is to exceed expectations of the communities we serve, changing the way they feel about government, those who manage it, and the services it provides. Today's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Okay, good morning. Board to reconvene. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Supervisor Peters.
Here.
Supervisor Scrivener.
Here.
Supervisor Flores.
Here.
Supervisor Couch.
Here.
Supervisor Perez. Here.
Okay, good morning and welcome to the Tuesday, February 14, 2023 AM meeting of the Board of Supervisors. We'll begin today's meeting with the flag salute led by Supervisor Perez.
Thank you, Chairman. Please stand. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Be seated. Okay, at this time, I'd like to call on Nick Cullen, our Director of Animal Services Department, to introduce our Pet of the Week. I think we have Charlie here with us.
Good morning.
Intros.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board. I have Charlie with me this morning. Charlie, there he is up there. Charlie is frightened, but otherwise, he's about a 5-year-old. He's a mixed breed. We think he's probably got a little bit of Corgi and a long-haired Chihuahua. He's available for adoption right now at Kern County Animal Shelter. He's very stressed out, but he did come from a home with 21 other dogs. So, you know, we're hoping he really thrives in the shelter and finds a home real soon.
So, thank you so much. See you. Okay, at this time, we'll begin considering the consent agenda. Agendas are located on the tables near the doors for anyone wishing to follow along. All items listed with the CA above the item number are considered to be routine and non-controversial by county staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion. If a member of the audience wishes to comment or ask questions regarding an item on the consent agenda, they may do so prior to a vote being taken. A member of the board may remove any item from the consent agenda and it will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the board concerning the item before action is taken. A member of the public may also comment on any closed session item. At this time, I will read the consent agenda item numbers. On page 3, items 1 through 3, items 5 through 7. On page 3, items 10, 11, 13, and 14. On page 4, items 15 through 19. And that actually concludes the agenda items. So would any member of the public like to comment on any of the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board.
Make a motion on consent.
Thank you. Motion and second. Members, please cast your vote.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Thank you. Okay. This time moving to item 4 under public requests. We have a request from the Kernville Chamber of Commerce to allow the Whiskey Flat Days Festival honorary mayoral candidates to present their campaign promises to the board. If you'd like to come up at this time. And if you would please introduce yourselves too.
I'm Rescue Robbie,
I'm Grand Marshal Gary.
and we're running for a dog park built up in Kernville. We're just trying to make the Kern River Valley more pet friendly for the campers and all the Airbnbs, and just trying to bring something new to the valley.
Yeah, so all the money that we're raising through the mayoral race will go to building a dog park in Kernville. For several years, we worked with the county trying to get a dog park built in Kernville, but the county didn't have available parcels to give us in Kernville. So we found some riverfront property owned by the Chamber of Commerce who have been generous enough to donate that piece of land to get us a dog park built. And so we're raising money to get this dog park built and have a dog park, not just for the residents, for everyone else to enjoy. And this weekend is Whiskey Flat Days, so we hope to see all you guys there. Last year, we broke attendance for our small town of 800 people with over 100,000 people who attended Whiskey Flat Days on Saturday alone. So we're expecting another big weekend, and we hope to see all you guys over there.
Friday, this Monday.
Yes.
Thank you. I think there's some more, yeah. Sure. Supervisor Peters?
Good morning. I'm Terry Richardson, and this is my running partner, Phil Kraxberger. Our Whiskey Flat mayor handles are Fill It Up Phil and Two Stroke Terry. Our fundraising is going towards our youth motorcycle club that we have started in the Kern River Valley. It's a District 37 AMA sanctioned club. We are predominantly youth-based. We have about 20 kids locally that participate in several different off-road racing. They are from ages 4 to 18. Our funds that we're raising will go towards keeping them racing, first of all, because we race locally and nationally. We have a scholarship fund for our graduating seniors within the community. We also have a small fund within the club for our smaller kids that are not going to be graduating but have goals, so they have the opportunity to apply for a scholarship within the club. We do a lot of community outreach within the Kern River Valley with Family Resource Center, the senior community, and our kids are, we have them put up the flags along the boulevard for Memorial Day, Pearl Harbor Day, those kinds of things. And I'll let Phil take the floor.
Well, she pretty much covered it all, but yeah, youth is really fallen at the downfall lately. These kids, they just don't get the help and support that they need to get out and do things. They're stuck in their houses. Especially through COVID, they were stuck in their houses on their computers, their laptops. That's all good, but the kids need to get out and they get to play. They need to get dirty. They need to eat a little dirt, and the only thing that was available during COVID was motocross and desert racing. So that's what got us. All our kids were playing football and baseball and enjoying all the sports that they couldn't do anymore. So they took their enjoying, let's go camping with the family ride to let's race. It's the only thing we can do. And it's really grown in the community, and we're just out here to help these kids stay busy, stay out of trouble. We really appreciate your guys' time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Supervisor Peters?
Thank you, Chairman. Just wanted to say thank you very much, Phil and Terry, and to Robbie and Gary back there for everything you guys are doing. This is awesome. Great causes. If anybody's wanting to donate to these, though, what's the best way to get in touch with you guys and get some donations coming your way? Bribes.
And we also have a website on Facebook and Instagram, Kern Valley Motorcycle Club. They can go on there. We also have a Venmo on there that if they want to donate or anything, or if they just want to come up and support our kids and watch. Usually have a list of all our races, where they're going, what the kids are doing. Get on and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You'll see all the positive things we're trying to do for these kids.
Great, thank you. And then for Robbie, would it be best to contact you guys at SOS Dog Rescue?
Yeah,
Or?
the same social media, Facebook, Kern River Conservancy, SOS Dog Rescue, or through the Kernville Chamber of Commerce directly as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys again for helping these causes, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys up at Whiskey Flats this weekend. That's always a great time.
Good time, good time. Thank you. Any other people under public requests? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved to persons to address the board in any matter not on this agenda but under the jurisdiction of the board. Board members will respond briefly to statements made or questions posed. They may ask a question for clarification, make a referral to staff for factual information, or request staff to report back to the board at a later meeting. Also, the board may take action to direct the staff to place a matter of business on a future agenda. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes. Please state and spell your name before making your presentation. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Gary Simmons, and we've been here before, and we've had some pretty good conversations. And the very first thing I want to do is I want to say thank you to Supervisor Peters. He extended a tremendous amount of time to our committee a few weeks ago. We spent almost 2 hours with Mr. Peters and his staff members. A little rocky in the beginning. I got a phone call at 8:30 in the morning before a 12:30 meeting that said there will be an attorney present and they will record everything you say and do. Do you understand? Whoa, did you call the wrong number? So that was our first experience, but Mr. Peters was very, very good. I want to commend Supervisor Perez. You made a recommendation a few weeks ago that you would prefer to deal only with evidence and facts. Well, that was a fantastic recommendation that you made. So our committee has been very, very busy collecting evidence and facts. Okay? Unfortunately, there was a real bad experience here a few weeks ago between Jeff Flores and Dr. Clements. It got out of hand. It went viral, and it didn't do anybody any good on either side of the line. It just was unfortunate. It never should have happened. And you've heard me say in the past, this is a non-confrontational committee, non-political committee. It doesn't matter if Republicans won an election or not based on the voting situation. We're not going there. And I just had a phone conversation with Amy Espinoza last week for 15 minutes. She's wide open. I just had a 20-minute conversation with her here prior to entering your chambers. Everything is moving forward good. I have to ask, I know I'm down to seconds, I have to ask, please, public comments coming from the supervisors meeting or the supervisors in public, those comments are creating a problem. And my phone's ringing off the hook in response to what these comments are, and well, who's calling who something. We have to refrain from that.
Thank you.
We're not doing it, and I don't expect you to do that. The one thing I want to do, because I'm running out of time, unless you want to extend me more time.
Well, wrap up your comments and we'll go to the next speaker.
Okay,
please.
the other thing I want to do, we want to ask for the Dominion contract. We want to read the contract. How is it worded? What are the stipulations? What's provided in the contract? What's the payment? And the monthly fees that we're paying for maintenance, we need to know that. I own a software company, so I'm somewhat understanding of those contractual agreements between computer companies.
Thank you. And our clerk of the board can give you that contract.
Good, and that'll be helpful. We will be hopefully conducting a meeting with Amy
prior to the 28th, and we would love to have, we know we can't have you all in the same room. We would love to have one of you, please be in that meeting. There is a speaker coming to Bakersfield on the 20th.
Thank you. You're a minute over. Can you please wrap up your comments, please?
I couldn't hear you.
Oh, can you please wrap up your comments because you're a minute over?
I still can't hear you.
Could you please bring your comments to a close because you're a minute and 18 seconds
Okay, thank
over.
you. There is a speaker coming. He's selected, and one of the commands coming from Mr. Peters' assistants was they want Kern County conversation only. And so the speaker that's coming is going to provide us with Kern County. Now, please understand.
Okay, sir.
This is not a committee to find out whether or not there's elections integrity issues. This is a committee determined to be non-confrontational.
Thank you.
And help find solutions for you, citizens, and the Office of Elections.
Thank you so much.
Did you want to respond to me?
No, but she can get you a copy of the contract, and we'll bring the next speaker forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You were real nice this morning. I didn't agitate you.
No, I gave you extra time, but I want to be quick.
Good morning, Kern County Board of Supervisors. My name is Vince Maioco, last name spelled M-A-I-O-C-C-O. I will be playing a 90-second recording of a recent interview of Supervisor Jeff Flores on a local radio talk show from February 8th. Please allow me a few extra seconds after this recording is played so I can express my concerns.
Pretty raucous, and did they have to call in the deputies?
Almost. They came to the dais because, these people, these election deniers, and the clinical disease they might have is election denialism.
I'm gonna have to use that, Jeff. I'm gonna write that down.
Sure. I understand people are frustrated with the counts and the time it takes, but that's a different question. These people are still hung up on the last election.
Yeah.
It's over. Every state, the courts, everyone's waiting on this. I've not seen any evidence, but people are so fired up, and they think that the machines we have here are fraudulent, this and that. But across the board, Ralph, Trump did well in Kern County.
Yeah. That's what makes absolutely no sense.
It doesn't make any sense. We did well in the House. Shannon Grove's elected. I'm elected. Kevin's elected. Where's the fraud?
Right.
If you have the technology to flip a switch, they're not using it. So, they brought in
It's not funny. I shouldn't be laughing.
But they believe it.
Sad.
They believe it. They believe it adamantly. They brought in.
I'm a head college baseball coach, and I am positive I've been called names by opposing coaches and most certainly umpires. However, I've never been called the following names: an election denier, having a clinical disease, still hung up on the last election, not abiding by the rules, having a sick symbiotic relationship, using manipulation for my own personal gain. If we are to come together and address our election concerns in Kern County, name calling by elected government officials is no recipe to solve these issues. I would like to ask Chairman Flores to apologize for these unattractive statements he made on the radio airwaves about many of his constituents.
Sir, your time has expired. Can you bring your
voters of
comments to a
Kern
close,
County,
please?
and a lot of people who probably voted for him. Thank you so much for this opportunity to discuss this matter.
Thank you. And just for context, that wasn't the whole interview. There's more. So anyone that wants to listen to it, you can go to KNZR and hear the full interview in its full context.
So my question,
I stand by everything
in all
that
due
I said.
respect, Chairman
In all due
Flores.
respect, your time is over, and I
Okay.
stand by every comment I made in that, and you can take it out of context or not, or the people can listen to it on their own. Next speaker, please.
Most certainly, because there was no editing whatsoever.
That's fine.
So I'm taking that as you're not apologizing
I'm not
to your
apologizing,
constituents.
and there was more to that interview.
Okay.
So I doubled down, tripled down. I'm not apologizing.
Please, go ahead and
Next speaker, please.
quadruple down if you want.
I will.
Thank you for your time.
Quintuple. Next speaker.
Good morning. My name is Laura Steinke. That's going to be Lara Steinke. A common value the board members and I share is respect for election integrity. As a republic, voting is a sacred right. And when we discuss the election process, we know we are walking on hallowed ground. Out of respect for that process, questions should be welcome. To act as if questions are not okay, to ridicule anyone who has a question is to become aligned with communist countries such as China, Russia, and Venezuela. Kern County does not want to be a place where questions are not okay. In fact, if there is so much confidence in Dominion machines, questions should be welcome and seen as an opportunity to demonstrate competence. Furthermore, it is reasonable to ask questions because elections are managed electronically, and it is well established hacking is a huge problem. In 2022 alone, there are numerous cases of hacking, such as Crypto.com, GiveSend Cash political data breach, Cash App data breach, and the Microsoft data breach. I don't need to go into a longer list of other successful hacking incidences. Everyone knows hacking is real, and everyone knows cybersecurity is important. So it's reasonable to ask questions about any system, but especially about a system that manages elections. Reasonable questions include, hey, do these machines have a modem? It's an easy question to answer because you can ask your tech people. Another reasonable question, can these modems be operated wirelessly and remotely? And that's the million-dollar question right there, and it's reasonable to want an answer to that. These are our elections, and we care about them. I would like to add the government admitted Dominion machines are vulnerable to hacking in at least 16 states as reported by the Western Journal on June 9th, 2022, and I will forward that article to the members of this board after the meeting. In conclusion, it is reasonable to question election integrity in a world where we know there are hackers and some of them are pretty darn good. Thank you for your time, but most of all, for your sincere desire to protect election integrity. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker, please.
Good morning, and congratulations, Chairman Flores, for winning where you're at right now. I know that's has to be a lot of hard work and everything. I'm just here because I'm a little concerned with voting.
Please provide your name for the record.
Oh, yeah. Joseph Chesney.
Thank
My
you.
last name's Chesney, and I'm from Kern River Valley.
Thank you.
And from Ridgecrest. I kind of go between one place to the other. But I am in 1st District. My concerns here are, I became an active participant in Kern County to increase the voters. And so, hey, let's get some new voters. But what's going on is I'm seeing that we have an ROV with over 400,000 people. And I'm like going, wow. And I'm looking at, like for example, the last primary that we had 203,000 people come out to vote. And we had 431,000 people in the size of the ROV. And we had a 47% turnout. And I'm like going, that's terrible. I go, so I've been focusing on not so much running around trying to get a new voter, but to get the voters that are registered to vote to come out and vote, okay? It became quite apparent when I woke up this morning saying, go check out those numbers. So I went in there and I looked at what happened at this last election. 188,000 people came out to vote. 13.1%, sir, of the ROV came to vote. Why is that? I'm asking for like a resolution or some sort of why you think that our voting has dropped to 13%. To vote you in, you only had 13% of the vote, whoever was voting. Kern County, from what I understand, is the second largest ROV in the state. And I ran out of time.
Thank you.
I will come back though this afternoon to go forward with this. And I would like to have recommendations and what we can do to help increase the discouraged voter.
Thank you. Thank you. No, voting turnout's important. We'd like to see those numbers increase.
13.1%, sir.
Yeah.
That is embarrassing.
Yeah.
We're the second largest ROV in the state of California.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
No, thank you, you bet. Okay, next speaker, please.
Dennis McLean, MC, capital L-E-A-N. Good morning, supervisors and staff members. I'm here this morning in support of the proposed Citizens Committee for Election Integrity. By letting this committee present their evidence of voting fraud by placing it on a future agenda would be the prudent thing to do. Hearing this information may provide the evidence some more board members need to look at this issue with an open mind. I'd like to ask the board some questions about the 2020 election and those after. How is it possible for 12,000 more votes counted than people who actually voted? How can 187 deceased people vote in the 2022 primary election for the office of Auditor, Controller, County Clerk? How can we trust these Chinese Dominion voting machines when we don't even know how they work and are not allowed to look at the internal parts of the machines? These are just some of the concerns we would like to be addressed by the Board of Supervisors. In closing, I find the recent public comments by Supervisor Flores insulting the voter integrity group unprofessional and a disgrace to our county supervisor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next speaker, please. I think we have one more. Come on down.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors of Kern County. My name is Duetta Riley. And Mr. Chairman Flores, I did hear your entire interview. I'm unimpressed with you. I think you can do better than this. I'm optimistic that you all can lead, and you're in those chairs to do it. Let's go. Let's get serious here. Insulting your base is not how we lead. We won't go away. We won't sit down, we won't be quiet, we won't stop. It's not over. 2020 is not over. We won't stop. My first comment to go off on an agenda item here is we need to follow the money. Who's benefiting from this system? Did you really win, Mr. Flores, or do we just take your word for it? Do we trust you? I don't trust anybody. I need to see facts. I'm like Ms. Perez, I want to see evidence. I hope we can get her to come to our meeting on the 20th. There's going to be another very similar, my understanding, I'm not in charge of it or anything, but my understanding, very much the same information will be presented. If you'd really like to see what we're concerned about with the Dominion machine.
I would. I'll be there.
Thank you.
Thank you for the invite. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. Honestly, I do.
You are so welcome. We'd love to have you. I don't know the details yet. We'll get you some. But I want to talk about that interview, and I want to talk about when we go back to who benefits. You've heard Donald Trump and many people call the media fake news. How much money did KERN radio get from COVID? How much money did the Bakersfield Californian get? That's who's benefiting. That's why they're ha ha, funny, funny. They think they can win 2020 still. Oh, we do think that. We do intend to. We are not going to stop. COVID was a hoax. It's not over. Dominion is a sting, and it caught you. It only caught you if you're part of the problem, so don't be too upset if you're not. But anybody that it caught
Thank you, Ms.
is
Riley.
part of the problem. I want to talk about rules, if I could take 2 more seconds maybe.
Yeah, but
I don't know where this
bring your comments to a close, but go ahead.
I will. I don't know where this 2-minute rule came from. It just showed up one day. I'm going to tell you, I believe it came from this agenda of the New World Order, Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. Nobody asked me. I don't comply. I don't agree. Whatever I have to do now, that and auditing Kern County, auditing all of the money all of you get, we're going to get to the bottom of this thing, and 2020 or bust, President Trump is my president.
Ryan Alsop, our CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to point out the According to the Secretary of State's office, registered voter turnout in Kern County the last election was 43.75%.
Okay, thank you. So that's improving, and that's an accurate number. Thank you for that data point. Okay, any more public speakers? Now is the time to come up.
Can I ask a question?
Not at this time, but you can ask after you can go to staff and ask. But we're done with public comment if no one else is speaking.
I'm making a public comment.
I know, but asking questions during public comment constitutes public comment. But you can ask on the side. Okay, seeing none, we'll move forward to item 12 under the County Administrative Office. Oh, sorry. Actually, board member announcements or reports. Okay, seeing none, we'll move to item 12 under CAO.
Chairman, I just want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day.
Okay, thank you.
Love is in the air.
Thank you. I'm gonna get a heart-shaped pizza tonight myself. Okay. This is a mid-year status report for fiscal year 2022-2023 budget and proposed mid-year budgetary adjustments from the general fund appropriation for contingencies in the net amount of $188,902 anticipated revenue from the state of California, Department of Social Services for increase in CalWORKs, assistant payments in the amount of $25 million, an increase in general fund designation for infrastructure replacement from unanticipated sales tax return revenue in the amount of $16 million. And Ryan Alsop, will you please lead off our staff report and discussion?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm just going to go right to Ms. Martinez from our office, our county's Chief Financial Officer. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. We are pleased to present the county's fiscal year 2022-23 mid-year budget report. Mr. Alex Alba, your Assistant CFO, and Joseph Arriola, our Fiscal and Budget Analyst, will be assisting with this presentation.
Thank you.
So the fiscal year 22-23 budget was adopted by your board on August 30th, 2022, and included a total of $3.6 billion in expenditures and 8,556 authorized positions. As a reminder, this budget was built on a linear baseline established to address minimal growth in discretionary revenues, and the budget prioritized funding for mandated and essential services, placing an absolute priority on critical and urgent needs, including our public safety. Included in this report is the status of 22-23 key county revenue sources, a high-level summary of projected expenditures, discussion of significant revenue and expenditure variances, and updates on general fund reserves. First, Mr. Arriola will go over some key economic indicators that are relevant to today's presentation.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Joseph Arriola. As Ms. Martinez discussed, I will be presenting a few key economic indicators that we are looking at. As you will hear throughout this report, the county continues to struggle with vacancies across all county departments. The chart before you shows unemployment rates from January 2020 to December 2022 for Kern County, select counties of comparison, California, and the United States as a whole. Kern County has historically experienced higher unemployment rates than the U.S., the state, and other California counties. The data as of January and February 2020 on the chart before you, though just a snapshot, is a fair representation of what you might expect both of unemployment rates in Kern County and the spread between Kern County 22 to 2023. Put another way, % change in PCE, PCE excluding food and energy major product types, as well as food and energy specifically. All major product groups experienced year-over-year growth throughout 2022, most notably energy goods. After a year-over-year high in June of 22, growth began to slow to a 5% year-over-year increase in PCE as of December 2022. Though this impacts expenditures throughout the county, this also impacts revenues, as Ms. Martinez will show each of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aurelia. Just as a reminder, property tax revenue estimates for 22-23 are based on property tax values as of January 1st, 2022, lien date, making it less subject to fluctuation after the adoption of the budget. The final assessment roll for 22-23 included a 13.6% increase from the prior fiscal year, most likely the result of prices and market activity in real estate. Secure properties increased 7.3%. However, with the increase in interest rates and higher housing costs, it's likely that we will see a reversal of this trend the coming fiscal year. Despite the increase in the final assessment roll, you can see in this graph that the assessed value growth over the last 10 years has been limited. It is important to remember that oil and gas valuation has become unpredictable. In 2014, oil and gas accounted for 33% of the total assessed value. Last year, it was 11%. This fiscal year, the assessed value represents 14% of the total assessed valuation. And despite energy prices being high, the assessed valuation reflects not only the price per barrel of oil, but also the value of reserves and the expectation of future production. Any changes in those factors will be important as we develop next fiscal year budget. This is the graph for our discretionary revenue. With 6 months of actual data, departments can provide reasonable close estimates of their projected budget status at the end of the fiscal year. The first installment of property tax has been received, and state and federal allocation for reimbursable programs are flowing through the county. The county budget included $409 million in discretionary general fund revenue. This is the revenue that pays for most public safety and other non-mandated services. This revenue is comprised of property taxes, sales taxes, vehicle license fees, interest earnings, and other discretionary revenue from state and federal sources. The table includes a forecast which is projected to exceed revenue estimates by $29.9 million or 7.3%. Property tax-related revenue is projected to increase by estimates by $5.7 million or 1.8%. This increase is the result of the final revenue estimates completed by the Auditor Controller for all taxing agencies. And despite high inflation, consumer spending remained strong through the holiday season. Based on sales tax trends, one-time collections, and economic drivers evaluated by our county sales tax consultant, it is anticipated that sales tax will exceed budget estimates by approximately $16.1 million. Realizing that this is a one-time source, we are recommended that your board set aside the funds for use in the next fiscal year. Other revenue are projected to exceed budget estimate by $7.9 million. With high interest rates, we are seeing higher interest earnings on existing cash balances. In addition, the county received $4.4 million from the Local Assistance and Tribal Consistency Fund. This funding was not expected at the adoption of the budget. And finally, approximately $1.6 million in mitigation fees received from the composting facility in Lamont will be transferred to the general fund Arvin and Lamont Economic Opportunity Area designation for the benefit of those communities in future years. This graph is just to illustrate our reliance on property tax to fund most of our public safety and discretionary non-mandated services such as libraries and parks. Property tax related revenue is approximately 73.6% of the total overall discretionary revenue. This graph shows the funding for realigned state programs to local governments. Realignment programs involve a shift from program responsibility from the state to the county. This shift is funded through a corresponding shift, dedicated sales tax and vehicle license fees. These revenues have a direct impact on the net general fund contribution supporting various departments and are critical in maintaining a balanced general fund budget. While realignment funding is restricted to the specific programs listed in this chart, any shortfall on those programs, especially for social services, become a general fund responsibility and could result in significant service levels impacts. For 1991 realignment, the adopted budget included $186.6 million revenue estimate. Nearly 110 is attributed to CalWorks and family support. Increases on those categories do not affect service levels, as the state will offset their responsibility, meaning higher collections and realignment, lower reimbursement from the state. For mental health, and social services, we are projecting a small increase from the budgeted estimates, but any increases will be used to mitigate fluctuations the following fiscal year. For 2011 realignment, we are anticipating approximately $23.9 million more than budgeted. Your board this afternoon will take action on the proposed funding allocations that was approved by the Community Action Partnership for several county departments and community-based organizations that support law enforcement activities under AB 109. Other funds will be set aside for unanticipated program needs or future possible shortfalls. Now, Prop 172, this is a ballot measure approved in 1993, placed a 0.5% sales tax in the California Constitution to be used only for local public safety activities. The distribution of Prop 172 to each county is based on its proportionate share of statewide sales. With the increased sales tax collection statewide, we are also anticipating Prop 172 to exceed budget estimates by $4.2 million. Again, funds will be set aside to assist with any cost increases in the coming fiscal year. Now, Mr. Alba will go through a high-level summary of projected expenditures included in your board's report. It's also detailed information for each one of the departments.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Alex Alba, your Assistant Chief Financial Officer. This section will provide information on those revenue sources described by Ms. Martinez, how they're budgeted and expended. The fiscal year 22-23 adopted budget included $3.626 billion. Throughout the year, your board has approved adjustments through separate board item actions. The sum of these adjustments through December 31st, 2022 totaled $52.3 million for an adjusted budget of $3.679 billion. As of December 31st, 2022, expenditures are at 39% of the adjusted budget. The budget includes multiple categories of funding. $1 billion, or 29% of the $3.6 billion county budget, covered the salaries and benefits of our county employees. $1.6 billion covers operational expenses. This amount includes services, supplies, roads project, assistance payments, behavioral health contract payments, just to mention a few. As of December 31st, 2022, expenditures totaled $1.4 billion, representing 39% of the budgeted appropriations. This is within the historical range when compared to the mid-year point of the prior year. The increase in operating expenses from prior year mid-year is due to higher price of goods, as mentioned by Mr. Arreola, and a variety of major maintenance projects, which includes replacement of playground structures and development of new parks. This chart shows the salaries and benefits costs incurred as of December 31st for the current and each of the past 3 years, and demonstrates the upward trend of the budgeted personnel costs. The upward trend is a result of the budgeted increases in staffing levels and a 2.5% COLA approved December 14, 2021, which became effective July 2022. The lower percent to budget when compared to prior year is primarily due to salary and benefit savings from vacant positions. Given the recent trends as described by Mr. Arreola in the labor market and vacancies in hard-to-fill positions, your board and Human Resources have worked to implement positive wage adjustments for various classifications throughout the county, which included deputy coroner classifications, sheriff dispatcher classifications, detention deputy classifications, accountant classifications, registered veterinary technicians, behavioral health nurse classifications, social service workers, social service supervisors, eligibility workers to assist with recruitment and retention. Although departments are projected to absorb the increases in wage adjustments, our office will continue to work with departments to monitor increases to salaries and benefits as a result of successful recruitment efforts. The mid-year review of departments' expenditures through December 2022 identified mid-year adjustments to meet the departmental objective needs and ensure sufficient funding and appropriations exist to end the year in a positive fiscal position based on mid-year projections. The mid-year budgetary adjustments include increases in appropriations for utility payments, social service assistance, and election costs, which will be offset with the cancellation of prior year capital assets, unanticipated revenue from the California Department of Social Services. Included in these adjustments is $16 million in unanticipated sale and use tax revenue, which is being set aside for infrastructure replacement. This concludes my comments, and Ms. Martinez will provide your board with an overview of the existing reserves and designations prior to the changes listed on this presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Alba. The adopted budget included $278 million in reserves and designation for the general fund, assigned and unassigned fund balance for the accountants in the audience. Reserves and designations that write up to mitigate future known and unknown liabilities and capital needs. The current balance of our general reserve is only $41 million. The Government Finance Officers Association recommends that no less than 2 months of regular general fund operating revenue or regular general fund operating expenses set aside. Our general fund average operating expenses is $74 million. But in case of an emergency, your board has full discretion to reallocate these reserves and designations as needed. The balance of reserves at mid-year was $274.8 million. Your board allocated $3.9 million of the designation for the corner facility to acquire some fixtures and equipment, and an additional $106,000 was released from the Oildale economic area for improvements in that community. Other designations include major capital needs, such as the replacement of our public safety communication system and a new animal control facility. As noted by Mr. Alba, we are recommending that your board set aside the $16 million in additional sales and use tax estimated by the end of the fiscal year for the public safety communication system. So as detailed as this report in the presentation, our county budget is tracked consistent with the amended budget. The proposed budgetary actions will allow the department to cover obligations through the end of the fiscal year. And we want to thank all departments and their staff for their assistance and cooperation in preparing this report. Your board's recommendation today is to receive and file and authorize the auditor controller to process the proposed budgetary actions. This concludes our prepared remarks, and we'll be happy to answer any question your board or the public may have.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Before we go to public comment, any questions or comments from our board? Yeah, Supervisor Perez.
Thank you for your presentation and your hard work. Very user-friendly, so hats off to the CAO's team, and thank you. This seems like there's some good news coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any members of the public that'd like to comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board.
Motion on staff's recommendation.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion second. Members, cast your vote.
Thank you. The motion is approved. All ayes.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Okay, having no more items to consider in open session, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session for items under County Council, items number 20, 21, and 22. Motion. Okay, we're adjourned.